Yes, in the last class we completed about the short transmission line, and in today's class we are going to discuss the medium transmission line. The medium transmission lines are classified into three types in their mathematical representation. They are, coming to the medium transmission line, the classification is done in the way of end condenser method, nominal T method, the last one nominal pi method. In this medium transmission lines, the transmission line is represented with parameters called series impedance, which is formed with resistance inductance, and shunt admittance having only capacitance. Thereby Z and Y are existed. Z and Y are existed in the network. Based upon the location of this C, these are classified into end condenser method, nominal T and nominal pi. In this class we are going to discuss about this end condenser method, where the name itself says that the capacitor is located at the end point of the transmission line. That is, the entire capacitance of the transmission line is located at the receiving end side of the transmission line. That is called as end condenser method. And how to identify the line is a medium transmission line? The medium transmission line length varies in between 80 kilometers and less than 200 kilometers length. If the length of the transmission line varies in between these values called 80 kilometers and 200 kilometers, this comes under medium transmission line. In terms of operating voltage, if the operating voltage is greater than 21 kV and less than 120 kV, such a transmission line can be considered as medium transmission line. So, length and voltage specifications gives us the identification whether the line is short transmission line, medium or long transmission line. Again, I recall you, in the short transmission line, we will have only the parameters called R and L, that is Z alone. Whereas in the medium transmission line, to form a shunt admittance, one more parameter is existed, that is called as capacitance. So that Z and Y are existed. Whereas for long transmission line representation, all four parameters existed in the modeling of the transmission line called as RL and CG. So that Z and Y are formed in the line representation. So let us analyze today's class about end condenser method. So the circuit diagram for this end condenser method looks like this, which consists of a resistance with a lumped element. As we discussed in the previous class, the short and medium transmission lines are represented with lumped elements, whereas long transmission line is represented with distributed elements. So that is why for the entire transmission line, whatever the resistance is available, that is shown as a single element concentrated at one point called as lumped value. That resistance is called as R, shown here, and the net reactance due to inductance called as inductive reactance is calculated and is shown in series with the resistance, thereby forming the impedance called capital Z. And it is a two-port representation. Thereby, the medium transmission line will have the lumped capacitance or concentrated capacitance at the receiving end side like this. So that if you observe, this is Y, which is formed with BC alone. And the terminal so far here in this side is called as receiving end terminals, and the quantities are called as the receiving end voltage VR, delivering a current of IR at a power factor of cos phi R. So the same amount of receiving end voltage is applied for the entire capacitance. So the amount of the current passing through this capacitance branch, shunt branch, is called as capacitive current IC. If we observe clearly at this dot called as node, which is present on the receiving end side, summation of the two currents gives us the net current called as sending end current IS. So the analysis is started from receiving end side and slowly we will approach towards the sending end side to define all the quantities. So the voltage across this admittance branch is VR and the current passing through this impedance is IS. So that the voltage drop existed here, the magnitude of that voltage drop is IS into Z. So summation of this receiving end voltage VR and IS into Z gives us the voltage that should be injected at the sending end side of the transmission line. And the amount of the current, already we have identified this current as sending end current IS with a power factor on sending end side as cos phi s. So observing clearly, again here there are 9 quantities that are present in this network. The 9 quantities are sending end side, the voltage Vs with a current of Is, power factor of cos phi s, gives us a power Ps which is equal to Vsis cos phi s. So 1, 2, 3, 4 quantities on the sending end side, whereas next 4 quantities on the receiving end side are Vr, Ir, cos phi r, Vr, Ir, cos phi r gives rise a delivery power on the receiving end side as Pr, which is equal to Vr, Ir, cos phi r. Total 8 quantities, and the 9th quantity is the capacitive current called charging current IC, which is leading in form with reference to the voltage Vr. So these are the total 9 quantities. So in order to do the analysis for this end condenser method, in general we will start at receiving end side. So prior to this, we should be able to know how much magnitude of the power is to be transformed, that is transmitted. What is the delivery power by this transmission line is known prior with a voltage of Vr for a known power factor of cos phi r. So with these 3 quantities known values, what are they? Vr, cos phi r and Pr. These are the priorly known quantities designed for this transmission line. Requirements are also called as demand. So it demands a transmitted power of Pr with a voltage of Vr at a power factor of cos phi r. So with the help of these 3 values, we can estimate first of all the current IR. So the magnitude of the current IR is equal to PR by VR cos phi r. PR by VR cos phi r. And the nature of the load, we assume here it is lagging load. Also our entire analysis is done by taking the voltage VR as a reference. So since VR is taken as a reference, I can write that VR as a phasor quantity which will have a magnitude of V suffix R making an angle of 0, because I told you that it is a reference. With reference to this VR, the current IR is now estimated as IR is equal to the magnitude called as PR by VR cos phi r. This is the magnitude which is lagging quantity, so represented with minus sign in this angle by an angle of phi r. Okay, so that is about the receiving end current whose magnitude is PR by VR cos phi r. Since it is a lagging current, assuming that the load is of lagging load, the sign will be negative sign with the phase angle on the receiving end side as phi r. So once obtaining this IR lagging current, then we can approach to the branch current called capacitive current, because In this capacitive current, to calculate this IC, voltage applied to this capacitor is known, and also the admittance called as capacitive susceptance is known for that. Therefore, easily we can calculate as per Ohm's law the magnitude of IC. Then let us see what is IC. So the current IC, which is a phasor quantity and it is a leading current, is given by I is equal to voltage applied to that VR phasor divided by minus JXC, where minus JXC is called as capacitive reactance in ohms. As we know in the Ohm's law that the current I is equal to V by R. R should be in ohms. Therefore, this capacitive reactance is also presented in ohms. Instead of defining it in ohms, we should convert its value into susceptance. Thereby, to get the exact term, I am rationalizing the numerator and denominator. So that we will get JVR, which is taken as reference, that is at an angle 0. J into J square. J square value is minus 1. Minus of minus, it becomes plus. Thereby, its value is plus JVR by XC, which is equal to 1 by XC. The reciprocal of the capacitive reactance is called susceptance. Capacitive susceptance. Then I can write this as JVR BC. Since conductance was 0, I can write that BC as Y. For further expansion, I can write the same thing as the current charging current IC with reference to a voltage of VR can be shown as VR. Y is nothing but 1 by XC. 1 by XC value is omega C. Thereby its value is like this. JVR omega C. Plus J indicates that it is a leading quantity by 90 degrees. The same thing can be written in the phasor notation as IC phasor is equal to magnitude VR omega C makes an angle of plus 90 degrees. All these angles whatever I am showing here, whether it is minus 5R or plus 90, all these angles represented with reference to the voltage called VR, since I have taken that VR as a reference. So if you check the quantities, IR is calculated in the first step as an equation 1. I am putting this as equation 1. And next in the second step I have calculated the current IC. This is our current IC, which was shown in equation 2. After getting the magnitudes of IR and IC, which makes an angle of lagging minus 5R and this is leading plus 90, I will add these two currents phasorically, that is vectorically. So the phasor sum of this IR and IC as per KCL at this node gives me the current called IS. That is our third step. So in the analysis, now I am going to calculate the current called IS, applying the KCL. On applying KCL, sum of incoming currents is equal to sum of leaving currents. The leaving currents are IR phasor plus IC phasor. Then I can write this current as IS, which is equal to the IR having certain magnitude, where I know that it is a lagging current, so minus 5R angle. This much amount of the lagging current is to be added with the leading current, which is having magnitude of IC, and I know that it is a leading current by 90 degrees with reference to the voltage. So adding these two, I get the magnitude of the IS as certain value, whose magnitude can be calculated from the above summation, and makes an angle of certain angle called phi 1. Okay, and observing that no doubt with reference to the voltage, this current is also a lagging current, because the amount of the load what we took is a lagging load. That is why the current with reference to this VR will be known as minus. Okay, once obtaining this IS, if you check in detail towards the right side of our circuit, moving from left side to, I mean to say right side to left side towards the sending end side, IS is known, VR is known, drop can be estimated so that we can apply KVL. On applying KVL, we get the voltage Vs as Vs is equal to the reference voltage VR plus the drop across the series impedance. What is the drop across the series impedance? Is multiplied by Z. So the current Is is a phasor which is to be multiplied with Z, expanded in the form as R plus J XL. So substituting the values, you will get the magnitude of this Vs as VR plus J0, because of taken as reference in our notation, is to be added with drop. The drop is the current Is making an angle of minus phi1 multiplied with R plus J XL, like this. So that we will get this Vs as its own magnitude of Vs making an angle of phi2, which will be in the form of leading, plus phi2. This will be the lagging current Is and Vs will be plus phi2. Then if you observe the quantities, as I told you, this PR, VR, cos phi r are priorly known quantities. So we won't bother about those three. With the help of these three, we have to calculate the remaining all quantities. In that procedure, first I have calculated IR as per equation 1, so that we will get all quantities that are available on the receiving end side. Later, I have moved towards IC calculation as per our equation 2. This is our equation 2. Once getting IC, slowly I am moving towards sending end side for having a voltage of, for having a current of Is. So here the current Is is obtained in equation 3. So Is is known quantity. With the help of this Is and impedance value, we estimated Vs in our fourth step. So that now what we obtained is of Vs in our fourth step. The last leftover is cos phi s. Then how to get this cos phi s? Once obtaining the values of this Is and Vs, then roughly we can analyze the phasor diagram. What is phasor diagram? Yes, we know that this is the voltage VR which was taken as reference. This is the voltage VR which is taken as reference. With this voltage VR, we know that the current Is is a lagging quantity. Yes, this is the current Is lagging, so represented towards backside of this VR by an angle of phi 1. Okay, and to the same reference of this VR, as per equation 4, the Vs is leading quantity by an angle of phi 2. Then I have to represent here in the first quadrant as Vs, which makes an angle of phi 2 leaded. Then the angle existing between Vs and Is is summation of the angles phi 1 and phi 2. So thereby, irrespective to the magnitudes what I have shown here, the polarities minus and plus, I will add these two. To be more specific, the phase angle on the sending end side phi s is phi 2, difference of the phase angles between voltage and current. As I told, it is difference phi 2 minus of minus phi 1. Then you can write this as phi 2 plus phi 1. What I have shown in the picture is also the same. We have to add phi 1 and phi 2, neglecting this polarities. This is one way of calculating phi s by drawing the simple figure. Otherwise, simply after getting the equations of 3 and 4, you can take the difference of this phi 2 and phi 1 to get phi s. Thereby, once getting the phase angle on sending end side, apply cos term to that. Then cos phi s is obtained, which is called as sending end power factor, as equation 5. So that with the help of these equations 2, 3, 4 and 5, we will be knowing the magnitude of the power on the sending end side, PS, which is equal to Vs Is cos phi s. Let it be equation 6. With the help of this equation 1 and 6, I mean to say the known value of the power PR and the calculated value of the PS, we can estimate the efficiency of this transmission line. Efficiency is equal to ratio of the receiving end power to the sending end power, to be multiplied with 100 for getting it in percentages. In other words, also we can calculate this efficiency as efficiency is equal to the receiving end power PR divided by sending end power is written as receiving end power plus transmission loss. Then what is transmission losses? The transmission losses in this are, if you observe the diagram, this is the resistor R element carrying a current of Is. Then the loss element is, the power loss can be shown as power loss is equal to, if it is a 3 phase, 3 multiplied by per phase current Is square into the resistance R. Thereby you can represent the loss here and can write the equation as receiving end power PR divided by PR plus 3 Is square into the resistance R. In this way we can estimate the efficiency, one of the performance parameter. So the ideal value of this efficiency is 100%, as I discussed in the previous class. And the next performance parameter to be calculated is regulation, percentage regulation. We know that the percentage regulation is nothing but deviation of the receiving end voltage with respect to full load and no load. That is, percentage regulation can be written as, which is equal to VR naught minus VR by VR into 100. This VR, which is taken as reference known value, and the single line objective to find out this regulation is no load receiving end voltage with a voltage injected as Vs, with a voltage injected as Vs. Okay, so then how to find out this VR naught is a next our procedural steps. As the name itself says that the transmission line is operated at no load, then I have to show the diagram here, resistor, inductor and capacitor like this, which is operating at no load. Thereby the current in this receiving end side will be 0. If the current in the receiving end side is shown as 0, IR as 0, then the voltage I have to indicate here as VR naught, no load receiving end voltage. Okay, and then the line is estimated to inject a voltage of Vs. What are the calculated Is in this equation 3? If you check it, Is at an angle of minus -phi1. This current will flow if and only if the transmission line is under loading condition, because the current IR what we calculated is with the power of receiving end power or load power PR. But now our operation is no load operation. Therefore, Is is not the current passing across these elements. What are these elements? The elements are, this is a resistor R with plus JXL and this has minus JXC. Since this branch is open circuited branch and the charging current, whatever the current it is passing under no load, IC naught will pass through this R plus JXL and finally to minus JXC, so that it terminates towards this sending end side. I mean to say that the resistor, inductor and capacitor, these three are connected in series, so that in the series we know that voltage divides. As per voltage division rule, if you can able to calculate the voltage across this capacitor, that voltage itself is called as no load receiving end voltage. So to find out the regulation, one should calculate VR naught. Then what is VR naught? VR naught is the voltage across the capacitor with an injecting voltage of Vs. Analyzing the circuit, as simple as that, the voltage across this capacitor is called as VR naught. So applying voltage division rule, the total voltage is Vs. This Vs has to be dropped across this R plus JXL minus JXC. I want the magnitude of the voltage across this capacitor. Then can be shown as per voltage division rule, VR naught, that is voltage across the capacitor, is equal to total voltage Vs multiplied by its own resistance wherever you want to calculate the voltage drop, that is minus JXC divided by sum of all the elements that are series connected. The elements are XL, XC are series connected. Then the magnitude of this will become, in the complex notation we can write this as R plus JXL minus JXC. This is the amount of the no load voltage. In other words, I can write this as VR naught, which is equal to the input sending end side voltage Vs multiplied with minus JXC divided by the magnitude of this impedance in ohmic given as square root of R square plus XL minus XC whole square gives you this VR naught. Once this VR naught is obtained, then the percentage regulation is equal to VR naught minus receiving end voltage at full load VR by VR into 100. So the ideal value of this efficiency is 0%. 0%. Hope this is the analysis of our entire network. And the last step, we want to draw the phasor diagram. The mathematical sequence whatever I have implemented in the analysis, the same thing is implemented here in the diagram purpose. If you see this circuit, I took this VR as reference. That is why here I am drawing the VR to be as reference. Listen carefully how to draw the phasor diagram. So this is VR which is taken as a reference. Okay. With this reference VR, first I calculated the current IR and identified that it is a lagging load. Thereby it lags with an angle of phi r. Then I have to draw the current phasor called as IR, which is lagging by an angle of phi r. Okay. Next, after first step, to get this second equation, I calculated this IC. This is the current IC. This current IC is a leading current with reference to this voltage VR. Thereby, the leading current is shown. Actually, to be drawn, I have to draw here. What is this current? I call it as leading current in the capacitor called as IC. But as per KCL, I have to add this IC and IR to get this IS. Then construct a parallelogram nearer to this IR so that this line is IC. The resultant what you get here, it is, if you check it clearly, this is IS. Okay. And this IS, so that if you observe, this is a triangle. Okay. In this triangle, the three phasors are shown. What are they? IR and IC. On adding this IR and IC, I got the current called IS. This triangle in this phasor diagram represents the KCL at this node. KCL at this node. Okay. Next, once after getting this IS, we have to implement KVL. What is KVL? As per KVL, Vs is equal to VR plus Is into R plus J XL. Then to this VR phasor, yes, this is VR phasor, I have to add the drops called as IS into R plus JXL. As simple as that. Then let us see how to add this. The addition of this holds good. IS into R, which will be in phase to IS. With whatever the angle IS is obtained, with the same angle, I am going to draw the phasor, and this phasor I will call it as IS into R. Yes, this is VR phasor up to here, and up to this point it is IS into R. Thereby the summation is VR plus IS into R plus J. What is plus J? In anti-clockwise direction, I have to orient the vector by 90 degrees. Thereby I am orienting it to the 90 degrees, represented here as this is 90 degrees with a magnitude called as IS into XL. So that VR plus IS into R plus J IS into XL gives me the total resultant. This is the total resultant called as VS, makes an angle with reference as phi 2, and here the IS makes an angle with reference as phi 1. Phi 1 is lagging angle and phi 2 is the leading angle. So this is about the phasor diagram. In this phasor diagram, phi s is obtained by adding the angles phi 1 and phi 2 magnitudes alone, leaving the polarities in our mathematical calculation. So as simple as that, we have completed this phasor diagram also. Then if you represent here with a dotted line, an impedance voltage was created which is called as IS into Z. IS into Z. So once again, with a short notation I am writing here, this is VR, this is IR, this is IC, IS, IS into R plus J indicates 90 degrees. This is IS into XL. This is VS, VR, IS, IR, IC, IS into R plus J, IS into XL. If I draw a dotted line, then it shows me IS into Z. Completed. Okay. So in this way, you can analyze the medium transmission line with an end condenser method. Alright. So diagram was shown first. Later, all the mathematical analysis with equations were given. Finally, the judging parameters called efficiency and regulations were calculated. At last, we concluded our class with drawing the phasor diagram. Okay. And we will see the problem with a continuation to this.